couple of your players this week. Have you got any head around the fact you're in the last 6, that you have a live chance to win a premiership, at this stage of the season?
No, I don't think we have discussed this predicament as how you've described it. It's more we're just trying to play as many games as we possibly can in a short season. So we talked last week around, after round 10, we get to play round 11, which is our first final, and then to play more games, to practice and train and get better and prep for next season. If we get through round 11, we get to round 12. So for us, it's like we've got another chance to play to try and catch up on our experience. So the fact that it's another final is outstanding, and the pressures that come with that we welcome. But the fact is that we get another chance to train 3 more times in another week, and we get another chance to practice and play against a strong opposition who are going to challenge us in every way possible. So we haven't made a point of the fact we've got this far. How exciting! It's like we just get another chance to play, which is brilliant.
Your first half was outstanding, and that's where you probably put the game to bed for the most part, but you dropped off a bit in the second half and probably weren't as efficient with the footy. How have you addressed that this week?
You're right. Our first half was exceptional. Our first halves over the season, have been pretty strong. We want a fast start, and that's the main key for us and priority. So after half time, round 10 against Hawthorn, we made a few changes with personnel to give us some experience in different exposure in different positions, and the same against Essendon. All due respect, the last quarter we decided to make a few personnel moves that may have upset a few connection pieces that we had from midfield going forward. We'll try and just keep the movement around our positions as less than what we have the last few weeks. But the girls know it's important after half time to come out with the same fire that we have at the start of games, because against Melbourne in particular, it's just not going to be sustainable for us to be bouncing around from one contest to the next and chasing our tails, because we're making things harder for ourselves where we shouldn't be. So, and again, it comes down to the maturity and experience piece, and this is why I feel like our team's blessed to play another week to experience what games can throw you and what challenges can come your way. And the second half is one of those challenges for us. How
much did you go back and look at the Melbourne game from round 5 and try and pull that apart potentially again?
Yeah.
Or do you 7 weeks on in your evolution, is it?
Yeah, a bit of everything. Yeah, a bit of all that. I think I looked at the team first, our selected side from that game, and it's different, which that adds another element too. And then, as you said, the last 6-7 weeks have been. I suppose our group's been rolling on with the improvement piece and consistency part that we talk about, with the new personnel that we're playing in different positions that have supported that. So we're a different team to the last time we played. So are they. They've made a few personnel changes too to complement their side. I've had a look at the game. Well reported, we got rolled late and after half time, particularly that last quarter, they kind of steamrolled a bit to 49 points. But I had made comment before that I didn't think the game's result of 49 points reflected the fight and just how close it was wrestled for the most part. We're just fatigued, and good sides roll over you if you can't consistently bring out the firepower required. So that'll be the challenge for us, and so I haven't unpacked it too much, mate. It's just what were some of the comparable pieces from last time to this time that we can still take away, but we've changed a lot, and so have they.
Have you, obviously the North Melbourne's sort of found out Melbourne on the weekend, are you taking a bit out of their game going into this round?
A little bit. I had a joke with the girls on Wednesday that 104 tackles in a game is pretty unique. Whether we can sustain that type of pressure over 4 quarters would be a huge question mark. We don't want to be going into a game where we turn into rugby. We need to make sure that we still bring the same mental fortitude, but then that tackle pressure and contest pressure is going to be vital for both teams. And Brisbane did it really well against them 2 weeks ago, managed to get the ball to the outside and have their run and carry game complement their forward half scoring ability, which was the balance that we're trying to find as well. For us to get trapped into playing a game where it's just tackle pressure and then forge the ball up from one part of the ground to close to goal. I just don't think it's sustainable. They're too good for that. But what we need to be strong at is our ability to tackle efficiently, and then get a balance between inside to out, which time in possession, time in forward half is going to be really important, and whatever team gets the balance of that right is going to have a big say in how the game's played, and we want to dictate how the game's played. But certainly, to answer your question a long way, we have looked at those two games, and the pressure factor just has to be as high as it possibly can for as long as it can be, and we'll aim to do that, but we can't just do that.
Melbourne, no doubt, are a bit rattled given there was such a low score last weekend. Is that sort of an advantage, that sort of mental advantage on Melbourne going into this weekend?
Oh, I don't think so. Like they've come out and said that they had a bit of sickness come through their camp, which is understandable when you've got only a small list to choose from and how that can impact the group and their performance. So they were clearly underdone a couple of weeks ago. Last week they were whacked by a team that was driven to beat them for the first time in a long period. And they're probably coming out of that part of their I suppose recovery period. So I expect them to be flying this week and be thinking about all the positives that they can bring to their game to negate us and to beat us. And everyone's fully aware of how strong Melbourne are. So, but I think for us, we're also focusing a lot on what we're strong at too, and I think it's been described during the week. Our scoring power over the last month has been really positive. So I think we need to make sure that we make Melbourne think about us as well, as much as we're thinking about them.
The growth of the team over the last 12 to 18 months has been incredible from the outside, but it's a great opportunity to show how far this group has come together against a team that's been one of the powerhouses for the last several years.
Yeah, it is. It's another chance to play against a top four team. Last year's premiers clearly want to go back to back, and you're right. The growth over the last 2.5 seasons, 3 seasons has been clear to see, and it was always hopefully going to be that way because we were coming off a pretty low base. You can only go up. Was the key driver. So you look at Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide. They've stayed up for such a long period of time, and they've played more games off the back of finishing top 4. We're still catching up with our experience, and again to go back to Kingy's point before around, we're deep into finals, but it's just another chance to get another game under our belt and to practice what we've been improving over the last couple of seasons. So I'm really proud with the way the group have improved, showed that consistency where even early in the season, we're talking about we can't play 4 quarters, but now we're playing 4 quarters. Yeah, our firepower's dropped off in late in games, but that's okay. Like we're still consistently playing quarter 1 to quarter 4. Melbourne are going to be a really tough ask to continue that pattern, and it'll be a really good challenge for us to reflect on it post this game and say, all right, well, if we won, it was because of A, B, and C, and if we didn't win, well, we've got a clear indication of what we've got to keep working on.
Regardless of what happens this weekend, is this now the benchmark? You want the girls to be getting to this point at every season?
I wouldn't say it's the benchmark. Like we always wanted to get to the postseason, so that was probably a little mini benchmark that I'd set for our group without publicly saying that out loud. It's interesting with the fixture as it is. Like every season throws up a new variable in regards to who you might be playing. So, we finished in the top 4 or 5 in regards to the end of the season results. Also we're playing the top 4 teams more than we have in the past. So that just adds another variable to outcomes. So to make the postseason, to play more games, to get more practice, that's the benchmark. So if we win this weekend, outstanding, we get to play another game. But we know that then it just forces new challenges in the fixturing for next season. So we'll have to meet those head on again.
Dan, it was brag for Derby last week. Is it as simple as Derby for Shear, or do you have to just be careful that you're not too top heavy potentially?
Yeah, it's a good question. After the teams were released yesterday, we noticed that the Dees have brought in some height and some experience. So we're going to have a bit of a chat today in regards to how that might upset or make us make a few decisions that we're already thinking about. But yeah, Darbs will come in, just depending on who we might roll out to support the talls or smalls that we're looking for that balance. But Bragg did an unreal job for us last week. She's come in a final specialist. She's only played a handful of games. She's played 2 finals, but she was really proud of her output, and so were we. Darbs was gutted. She missed out last week, so she trained the house down during the week, and she's going to play. It just depends on who we want to pull out to kind of complement what's coming in for both teams.
Just on Chloe, if you to get through this week, what are her chances of being available for a preliminary final?
She's a good chance, yeah. We saw her during the week. She came in to visit the group, and she was still sore. Hence, this week she was just out of the question. But it doesn't discount the fact that if we do get through further, that she's a genuine chance to potentially play. She's been so good for us, and to go down now and the way she did is so disappointing for her and for us. But the fact that she still has a glimmer of hope to play again is important for her and the group to see that too. So yeah, hopefully we get through and give her a chance.
You never like to see injuries, but that she did it early as opposed to later in the game. You actually got 3.5 quarters without her to get a bit of an idea how it will function. Is that a very
small positive? Yeah, small positive. We've been, me in particular, been pressing her to showcase more of her fundamentals and her attributes for longer in games, and I was challenging her during the week and the game of the weekend against the Bombers to do that. In her first minute, I was like, she's on here. Like, this is going to be a game where she just rises and shows the competition just how powerful she is up the ground, deep in forward 50, her decision making, all those things that we know she's good at. And she was exceptional in that first 5 minutes. And I thought, this is fantastic for us. But yeah, you're right. For her to go down was then others had to stand up, and Ashling stood up. Jackie Parry's had a super year. Kate and Renee and these guys playing their role up front. It's been really important for us. So yeah, there's a bit more of everyone had to stand up and play their role better.